Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Alderwoman Davis. Alderman Moore.
Here.
Alderman Vaccaro.
Present.
Alderwoman Howard. Alderwoman Murphy.
Here.
Alderwoman Boyd.
Here.
Alderman Muhammad. Chairman Conway.
Present.
5 present, you have a quorum.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. I think we were gonna follow up on a resolution with Alderman Rhodey.
It's actually a board bill, Mr. Chairman.
Which one is?
45.
We took that up last week.
We don't have it.
We don't have it in front of us.
Let's schedule this for Friday morning at 9 a.m.
Okay.
Would you, what, the number was 45?
Correct.
Resolution.
Board bill number 45.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right,
At what
time? Good morning.
Friday at
9 a.m.
Okay.
Okay.
We have 60 and
58, all right.
We have committee sub for 58 and amendment.
Okay, so we're back to board bills number 58 and 60. Obviously, it's, I know St. Louis County had issued its pay matrix for police officers. This morning, what I'm doing is I'm just going to, there's an amendment number 1 to board bill number 58 to change it from 20 employees to 50 employees. And we're gonna just amend 58 and hold it in the committee this week. But I want everyone to know that we'll move it to 50 employees just because a lot of these organizations are operating as 50 employees, like a business. So I would move that we adopt amendment number 1 to board bill number 58.
So moved.
It's been moved in second and that we adopt amendment number 1 to board bill 58.
Second.
Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Alderwoman Davis. Alderman Moore.
Pass.
Alderman Vaccaro.
Aye.
Alderwoman Howard. Alderwoman Murphy.
Aye.
Alderwoman Boyd.
Aye.
Alderman Muhammad.
Aye.
Chairman Conway.
Aye.
6 aye votes.
Okay, and we will sit on 58 for 1 week, board bill, so we'll just keep it in committee. And now we're on board bill number 60.
So we just adopted the amendment.
That's correct.
Okay.
Board bill number 60. Last week, one of the provisions that the mayor had talked about is Tim or somebody available, but the lady that's most important, Ms. Evelyn Rice Peoples, is here in the room, and if you would have a seat. The one thing that we had asked is to assure us or give us an idea what the $975,000 might be able to do with your department
Yes,
from a recreation standpoint.
yes. Mr. Chairman, may I pass these?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
60.
Should make one spread. Thank you. Chivalry is alive and well.
Okay, and as we're doing that, we have a committee substitute for Board Bill 60. It is designed to tighten up the language that the funds that we're telling the residents that the usage of that sales tax will be for, will go to those funds and pay for the things that the mayor has told us that it would go to pay for. So I would have moved that we adopt committee substitute for board bill number 60 at this time.
I'll second that.
It's been moved and seconded that we adopt committee
Previous
substitute
role.
for board bill number 60. There's been a request for previous role. Seeing,
Objection. Oh.
okay, there's an objection to previous role. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Alderwoman Davis.
Aye.
Alderman Moore.
Aye.
Alderman Vaccaro.
Aye.
Alderwoman Howard.
Put the numbers.
Alderwoman Murphy.
Aye.
Alderwoman Boyd.
Aye.
Alderman Muhammad.
Aye.
Chairman Conway.
Aye.
It's page 1, line 23.
7 aye votes.
Mr. Chairman, before you start with your presentation from the Director of Recreation, I noticed in the amendments there is one that's still missing here. We had pointed out that any revenue that is generated should come through the Comptroller's Office for the City of St. Louis. I do not see that, not in these documents.
I could speak to that, Chairman, if you want.
Right, and I've talked to Mr. O'Connell about that. So I'm gonna have him answer that question for us this morning.
It's under section 6 of the committee substitute. It's on page 3.
We got a hard copy yesterday.
I read the hard copy,
Where it says copy.
but you're voting on amendments and it's not here.
Oh, did you say amendment?
I said we voted on amendments and that amendment is not here.
Well, it was included in the committee substitute.
It's in the committee substitute to Board Bill 60. Now, I think you guys had just tried to, I mean, you were just on Board Bill 58 a minute ago, too, weren't you?
Right, we were just on 58
Yeah,
now,
we had a couple, yeah, we did.
but we're not going to
I'll deal with it next week.
discuss 58 further
I'll
this
deal
week.
with it next week.
So,
Okay.
just to be clear, did you all just adopt committee sub 60?
Correct.
So in section 6 here, it directs the comptroller. The comptroller is authorized and directed to hold all revenue returned to the city of St. Louis from the tax authorized by this ordinance, et cetera, in a special fund or funds.
I will deal with the specific process and procedure as we have normally done, as we just finished doing. By those changes that were outlined in this committee substitute document, also have very specific amendments, identified 1, 2, 3, and thus 4, to be handled. That one should have been as well. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, I'm just not aware of them. Were there any amendments you wanted us to prepare?
Okay. Okay, everybody, we're in it.
I'll deal with it next week.
Alderman, we're in a committee hearing.
We're having a full discussion.
I know, I realize that. You can take it outside.
President Reed to sit up here.
Yes.
President Reed, please. Please sit up here.
Oh, no, I'm good.
Mr. O'Connell, Ms. Peoples,
Yeah.
we're back to you.
Okay, thank you. What we propose to do, and we are excited and delighted by the opportunity to get better funding. I've said in the past, and I won't belabor your time, we have been cut down to skin and bones in recreation. Any one other recreation site, and I won't name them other than our municipally funded ones, there are single buildings who operate with a larger budget than I do for 7. We have been criticized in the past that sometimes all we do is babysit buildings. And truthfully, there are times when that's accurate, because that's all I've been funded to do. So this would help restore us so that we could offer authentic, vibrant, interesting, engaging programming in our rec centers. And the thing that we have in our rec centers that I think you understand and we feel good about is we are seen as safe haven. No matter how bad our buildings look, whatever accoutrements we don't have, what we have is public trust and credibility and a staff who cares. A staff who, for the most part, speaks the language of the young and older people who use our buildings. So we have no trouble drawing people. Keeping them and engaging them without adequate staff has been really, really difficult. Right now, I said to the director yesterday, if you go to any of my summer day camps, half of the staff are volunteers. I couldn't do it without volunteers. In the evening, half of my staff are volunteers. And while that's commendable, it really ought not be the way that we're funded. So what we would propose to do is, I would like to have, and I spoke to my staff and some users, these are just not Evelyn's thoughts, a computer lab and literacy program in each of the centers with at least 8 to 10 computers. I'll just kind of go through this quickly. Athletic, we would like to offer more Learn to Swim. It doesn't make sense to have public pools and so many young people don't know how to swim, and we offer that at no charge, and we are American Red Cross certified. We would do additional water aerobics, we'd like to do track and field, and we'd like to again do karate and self-defense, which was very popular until I lost the funding for it. Under teen and youth-oriented activities, youth-themed movie nights, youth theme nights, teen dancing with pizzas, teen rap sessions to gently address some of the issues that divide teens right now, such as appearance, color, religion, skin hue, hairstyle, and block they live in. We would like to do a little bicycle safety, as well as do some indoor roller skating. Under the arts, and I say this all the time, but I must say it again, based on a lot of issues right now, it is quite common for a young person to go kindergarten through the 12th grade and never have painting, art, singing, music, band, sculpting, none of the arts. And we know that the arts are acknowledged along with sports as one of the ways to open up and engage young people and direct their passion in a positive manner. So we could potentially be missing a little Louis Armstrong because he never got close to a horn. We would like to have recording studio equipment because many people think they can rap. It's not my place to agree or disagree, but I'd like them to have somewhere safe to do it with the video as well as the equipment. And what we would do is, one would have to attend 3 or 4 sessions before you get to cut your CD. We would like to do some more mural painting, which engages children, poetry, spoken word, and jewelry making, which is enormously popular among young women and young men. Also, life skills such as learn to cook and financial literacy, very basic difference in a check and a money order, things that are rampant in the community in terms of taking people's money, but they're not really being educated about why. In order to accomplish this, I would need to hire 2 recreation supervisor ones, which are full-time positions, 6 rec leaders, which are full-time positions, and 50 part-time people between recreation assistants and some lifeguards. The remainder of the budget would be for supplies, travel, and transportation, because we would include field trips and also other on-site visits, for example, to banks. And each program that I've mentioned would have a character development, conflict resolution component, but we would provide it insidiously so that the young people in particular really won't get bored and feel preached to. It will be woven through the program of how we treat people when we disagree with them, or when we're angry, or when we feel mistreated. That's all that I have, if you have any questions.
All right, are there any questions for Ms. Peoples? I appreciate the detail and of thought here. Alderman Muhammad.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So, $975,000 was the projected allocation.
Yes.
How would you equally split this up between the different directions that you have going north and south? How would you equally distribute the money?
That's
based on
an
need?
excellent question. What we would do, need is a part of it, but what I propose is, for the rec leaders in particular, I would really like to hire highly skilled professionals who might spend Tuesdays and Thursdays at Tandy, Mondays and Wednesdays at Gamble, Fridays at 12th and Park, and so on. So these people would rotate because they'd be a full day, And part of what we're looking at is primarily evening programming for young people and morning programming for seniors. So if something is enormously popular, we would give that more hours. I remember when we did the recreation arts program that we were funded for about 8 years ago. For the photography class, the line went around the corner, so we had to shorten the class and do it 3 times, because so many people had never held a camera other than their cell phone. And we asked them to find something beautiful a block away from their home, no more than a block, which made them have to look up at buildings. And so we would rotate the staff, and based on need, to your point, we could add more time at a particular location if we found that it was more popular.
Now, were these extra programs or these extra activities, will they also be implemented in the 2 recreational centers that the YMCA operates?
No, I don't.
I like the bill already. I vote for it. I'm with you.
Well, thank you.
Alderwoman Howard.
So this would be, I'm sorry, I wasn't here at the beginning. I apologize. This would be a 12-month program?
Yes.
Okay, now, let me ask you, 2 recreation supervisors for $100,000, would they be full-time?
Yes.
And that would include their benefits?
No, their benefits is probably about another, this is part of their benefits, probably about another 15,000.
So it would be $115,000 for those 2.
Well, it's actually a little under, it would be more like 112,000. Because we calculated it. It would depend on what step we brought the rec supervisor in at, depending on their experience. So this is kind of an average.
Okay, well, that's my fear is, yeah, okay. All right then, thank you. And then the rec leaders would probably be more when you include their benefits aside from their salary?
Yes.
Okay.
Alderman, I'm Greg Hayes. I was outside the door and was in here initially. I'm sorry, I'm the park director. We could get you more specific information. Typically, benefits run between 22, Paul could correct me, 22 to 25% in addition to salary. So if you need more specificity, we'd be happy to get that for you.
I'm glad you're here. I have one more question. You know, we passed a parks tax. Is there any reason we can't use some of that money for parks and recreation?
We have several buckets of money for parks, which are capital projects, but this involves actually hiring staff with a 10 increase in our 10-10. So I think it's a different situation here.
So you can't transfer money into 10-10?
Correct, not for
From
salaries.
those revenues?
Correct,
Okay. Okay, thank you.
certainly.
Alderman Moore.
Evelyn, is this enough money?
I don't think so.
I mean, you got 2 recreation supervisors, it look like they're gonna be running all, how many recreation centers do we have?
We have a total of 7. I oversee 6. So this would,
What's the one you don't oversee?
it's funded differently, and
Which one is it, O'Fallon?
Cherokee.
Okay.
I can
It's
interject
funded
again,
differently.
I don't want to steal any of Evelyn's thunder. Alderman Moore, that's Cherokee Rec. Since 2007, it's funded jointly through the rec center tax, and the BJC agreement from 2007 at about 1.1 million. It is run by another recreation employee in a different fund than 10-10 general revenue. Alicia Stelhorn runs Cherokee.
So this money will have, none of this money will go to Cherokee,
It potentially could, yes.
potentially could.
Yeah, I mean, we have 7 rec centers. She is still in the rec center mode with Evelyn with her other 6. Yes, we could put money toward Cherokee as well, but I think we could have those discussions later amongst ourselves internally.
So the lifeguards, what will we get, how many lifeguards do you need?
I did not calculate, it would depend on how many more hours we want to add. This would give us 7 days a week. Right now, the seniors have water aerobics 4 days a week. They would love to have 7 days a week. We just have not been able to provide it. So I would say probably another 12 lifeguards.
Another 12. And you can get that out of that budget.
I can make it work, yes.
I want you to make it, to be positive about it, to have enough money. Don't be scared to ask us for money that they probably won't give you anyway. But at least put it in there so we won't have to speculate on other charges like putting another 15,000 to the 2 recreation people. Put it all in. And I want to ask you a question about this teen rap session.
Okay.
Are the white kids gonna rap?
If they want to.
They do.
I mean, it look like they would have something more appealing to them than rap. Some of the parents might reject that. I'm just wondering
Well,
about the rap session.
The teen rap session, and perhaps I use the 60s terminology. The teen rap session is not for teens to literally rap. It's for teens to converse.
There we go.
Okay. So do you want to say teen converse session?
There
Because
we
she
go.
said they could tell some of the issues they have.
Okay.
We don't have a lot of places where teens can sit in peace and feel safe across the table from someone very different from them.
I'm with you now, but
Okay.
I didn't want the little white kids to come home rapping to their parents and get in trouble with their parents. Where you get that from? From the recreation center. I mean, it happens. I'm talking about life. And the cooking. Do we have to get more insurance on the burn factor and the kids getting hit by hot grease or something? So what will we do with that? How will we ensure that a child learning to cook won't have a problem?
We are fully insured, and I don't really anticipate hot grease but I understand what you're saying. We're fully insured. It would be safe, and a lot of it is the beginning basics of
Okay.
this is what you do. This is an eggplant, and it can be really good, and this is what you can do with it. That sort of exposure to healthy eating and cooking.
Okay, well, I'm just asking the real question. I don't want them to get up mumbling when you leave the table
Thank you.
and then ask the real questions. The murals and the painting, what would that consist of?
There would be indoor murals inside the rec centers. It's something that we did years ago that was enormously popular, where we would have local artists come in and with the children or the young people decide, what do you want to say about your community? What do you want to say about yourself? And everyone does very basic sketches, and then a set of final sketches are produced. Everyone in the group votes. When they come to agreement, then the artist kind of sketches it out against a wall or on a large board inside the center. And then the children, youth, and adults participate in actually painting it. And it stays there for years. And we know that for the most part, what we see affects how we feel about ourselves. So that when young people see murals that they've painted still up, it makes them have a sense of accomplishment.
Bicycle safety, what does that consist of? Will they bring their own bikes, or you just teaching them how to ride that hideous bicycle trail?
No, they would bring their own bikes. We would do it on the parking lots, and we would talk about, what do you do at alleys? What do you do if there's a person crossing the street? What do you do when there's a car? Is it okay to ride your bike without a helmet? It's just basic bicycle safety.
And last but not least, that skating ring at Tandy, will we expand that? It's about big as 2 cars, and it's full of glass all the time. So will we expand that skating ring, and where will we get the skates from? Are we gonna have skate rental, or everybody bring your own BYO skate?
We're anticipating bring your own skates, and we would make improvements. I can't say that it would be completely resurfaced.
Can I get that done?
You have the money? Which I think you do, Alderman. No, I'm being facetious. Yeah, we
Sir.
can take a look at that. I've seen it before.
Okay. All right, Mr. Chairman, thanks for not interfering with me and cutting me off. I appreciate it. That's all I have.
All right. Ms. People, could you just give me the location, just to tell me what our rec centers are for everyone here in the room?
Okay. Lowell Recreation Center is at the intersection of Martin Luther King and Kings Highway. Gamble Recreation Center is on Gamble, and it's close to the intersection of Martin Luther King and Glasgow. Marquette Recreation Center is at the intersection of Osage and Minnesota. Cherokee Recreation Center is on South Jefferson near Arsenal. Buda Recreation Center is on Hickory, and it is near the intersection of Shoto and Hickory, back in that area in the St. Louis University neighborhood. 12th and Park Recreation Center is on South 12th Street at Park in Leisure Park.
Yeah, I didn't.
And, oh my gosh,
Tandy.
Tandy Recreation.
Yeah, I know,
Center.
yeah, don't worry, I was gonna get there.
Oh
We
my
just
God.
talked about it.
Uh-oh. Well, that's right, we just talked about it.
I-
Tandy is near Sumner High School on Kennerly. Thank you.
Alderwoman.
I just had a few, probably, my question would be, before we came up with this analysis of what we would do with the funding for recreation, did we do an in-depth analysis of what is already available in the communities and whether or not it would be cheaper for us to partner with other entities that have better facilities, better programming, more staff, and more centrally located in the neighborhoods of need?
Yes and no. No, we did not do that specifically in preparation for this. Yes, the city did that in great detail probably 12 years ago. It produced a document called the Blueprint for Youth Recreation, where everyone who offered anything for any person in a recreation vein was identified, mapped, and actually all brought to the table to talk about what were the opportunities for collaboration and partnership. It really didn't go well. There's a lot of parochialism amongst some providers in terms of, I know you do it, but I do it and this is how I do it. And if your children come, who gets to count the kids? Do you count them or do I count them? Those kind of issues came up. Also, rec centers are, quite honestly, in some very challenging areas. And so for the most of the people who come to our rec centers walk there. And they cannot walk 15 blocks anywhere else because of neighborhood issues. And some of our population are really, really difficult to serve because there's been so much dysfunction and trauma at home. And so that's, a lot of the children that we get are children that other providers have turned away, and we take them, and we're comfortable with them, because we know how to work with them. And in many cases, the center director grew up with their parents and so on. So in preparation for this, no, we did not do this, but it has been done. And in the areas that I'm speaking of, for the most part, there are not a lot of other social service providers. Where they are, we do work with them. For example, 12th and Park, we work with Kingdom House. At Marquette, we work with the Thomas Dunn Center. At Lowell, we work with Hawthorne Schools. So we work with those providers that we can work with.
Okay, my other question is, when you have tax initiatives like this, and we've had them before, and we have not done what we said we were gonna do before. And so, and that's not your fault by any means.
Yes,
I mean, you have nothing to do with that.
okay.
One of the things that people are saying, residents are saying is, why can't we get it right? And they don't wanna pay any more taxes. They're just tired of us asking for money.
Yeah.
And so, if if there was any other way of trying to figure this out, and you know how I am, because I try to do the best I can with what I got.
You do.
I go out and raise additional funding, but when it comes to these buildings, you can't fix some of these buildings. I don't care how much money we get, we can't fix these buildings, they're too old, they need to be closed. And that's a fact. So, how else could we go about doing this if we don't do more partnering?
I agree that more partnering is helpful. I don't agree that the buildings need to be closed. There's a saying in boxing, and we have a big boxing program. The better the gym, the poorer the boxer. He getting knocked out. The boxers that come from the raggedy gyms with the paint peeling and the stains in the carpet win
Duct tape.
every time.
Well, they do, I know.
Okay, and I'm saying that to say, I don't think, of course, the appearance of the building matters. I would be foolish to say differently. But it's really the quality of the connection between that adult and that kid that makes the difference. And until we get new buildings, I'm okay with where we are. We've done some painting, we're putting in some floors, we're putting in close to $2 million in improvements that we've not had in the past. And I put the people that I have against anybody. And they don't have to shout and threaten. They just speak the language. And we really, really care about these kids. And kids are so much more like, they smell you. If you're not for real, they know it in a heartbeat. If you're doing it for the money, they know it in a heartbeat. If you're a professor from WashU and you just feel a little bit like, well, I'm doing my poor people thing, they smell it in a heartbeat.
Yes, they do.
I had my kids run a professor from WashU out, and he wouldn't come back because he wasn't real, and he didn't honor them, and he didn't need to be there with us. So I don't think, I would love for the buildings to continue to be improved, but in the absence of that, we are doing good work. We're doing good work in really hard places.
I can totally agree with the work. I know a lot of your staff personally. I work with them.
Yes, you do.
And that is not my issue. My issue is the reality of running the business of recreation by the city of St. Louis.
Okay.
That's my issue.
Okay.
We are no longer a 900,000 person city. We don't have the dollars. We need to be a little bit more creative and a little bit more specific when we talk about the money. And so that's the challenge I had in trying to talk to my residents about it. And you know, I keep my residents up close and personal. So every conversation I have, they right there.
Yes.
They know what I'm dealing with.
That's true.
So I'm just a little concerned.
Okay.
I'm really concerned. And I think that we may put a false expectation on even what you can accomplish and Greg, can accomplish with this small amount of money.
Okay.
And I just don't like to give false illusions, that's all. And I always like to look at those opportunities that are there. You were there, I think, even when we had a recreation satellite in almost every public school.
Yes.
So there's just so many things that I just don't know if we've really looked at this thoroughly, and should we put something out there to say, this is, you know, I just don't like doing that until I have more information, I have more research done. But I'm done, sir.
All right. I move that we pass committee substitute for Board Bill number 60 out of committee with a do pass recommendation.
Second,
Is
previous
that as
roll.
amended or just committee sub?
It's a committee sub,
Oh, wait a minute, what are we?
Board Bill 60.
Then we have an amendment.
Could we have a roll call?
Okay. We will do a roll call. It's a committee substitute because we didn't do an amendment to Board Bill 60. We adopted a committee substitute earlier in this meeting. Madam Clerk, I renew my motion. I'll take a second again.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and second that we adopt pass committee substitute for Board Bill number 60 with a do pass recommendation. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Alderwoman Davis,
Pass.
Alderman Moore,
Pass.
Alderman Vaccaro,
Aye.
Alderwoman Howard,
Pass.
Alderwoman Murphy.
Aye.
Alderwoman Boyd. Alderman Muhammad.
Aye.
Chairman Conway.
I will pass.
President Reed.
Aye.
Alderwoman Davis, are you
I'm present.
present? Alderman Moore.
Pass.
I need your vote. Are you
Aye.
voting? Alderwoman Howard. Alderwoman Boyd. Chairman Conway.
Aye.
7 aye votes, 1 present.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. I realize that there's a hesitancy to vote for this, just because times are trying. That's one of the reasons why we have Board Bill 58 that we're not going to vote on today. The key thing is, going forward, we got the budget coming out to the Board of Aldermen tomorrow for perfection and third read. We have to pass it. We have the refuse bill to raise $3 a month so that we can have refuse trucks. And the point is, I know the not-for-profits are here again. They all have their particular missions. They own 24% of the real estate in the city. They generate a lot of usage of our fire department and our police department. And there needs to be a shared responsibility of these organizations so that we can continue to maintain the city at the level. I know that, and I'm a graduate of St. Louis U, the fellow said, well, we have 400 cameras on our campus. Okay, well, I don't have 400 cameras in my neighborhood. And the point is that all of us, should be enjoying the benefits of city living, but everybody should be picking up some portion of that responsibility for public safety. We will have a meeting Friday morning at 9 a.m. We have the parking lot bills for the muni, for the building behind us and the building behind us, and then Board Bill number 45. I'll give you, at least a Friday's notice before we come back to Board Bill number 58.
Mr. Chairman, you're gonna let us know by Friday if we're gonna be voting on Board Bill 58?
I will announce on a Friday the week before we vote on 58.
So we won't be voting on it this Friday?
Correct.
Okay.
All right, well, meeting adjourned. Thank you.